Happy Friday. Rest day. I've missed you so much. So, topic of conversation today, since it seems appropriate due to the pain in my hip and hamstring, injury prevention. Something I have not done well over the course of my running life. And so, let's just jump right into this. Little history. In 2009, when I did my first Ironman, I had never done a marathon. I think the longest race I had ever done was a half marathon or a half Ironman. So naturally, having no experience, not really knowing what I was doing, I figured I would just kind of create my own training plan off of stuff I'd read or looked at online. Which, what could possibly go wrong there? Obviously, it's not like Ironman's a big race or anything that you should probably get your training right, but so I created my own training plan, and surprisingly, it didn't go perfectly, and I ended up with shin splints pretty badly, not very long into it, maybe 2 or 3 months in, and I think at the time I was rocking the Nike Shox, so this was just a how-to lesson in how to get things wrong, and fortunately, it was just shin splints, not something worse. I was able to get with a good sports medicine doctor who painfully got rid of my shin splints, but I was able to continue on with my training and ultimately finish the Ironman. But it would be the beginning of a theme, which was, not always setting up my training plans in the best way, ignoring pain until it became impossible to ignore, and just kind of winging things, and that's really a recipe for failure. So when it comes to injury prevention, there's kind of 3 things I think you have to focus on, and thing 1 would be obviously training with the right direction and methodology. Make sure that the training plan that you're using is going to support your goals, and it's not too ambitious, or you're not coming in out of shape and then trying to ramp up mileage super quickly and pace super quickly. Thing number 2 is good footwear. That makes a tremendous amount of difference. I mean, I don't think that it's any coincidence that I got shin splints when I was wearing Nike Shox for running. And then thing 3 would be getting your stride right, and that one's crucial. I had absolutely abysmal form when I started running. I was a super big heel striker. I bounced up and down. I basically did everything wrong. I didn't have a background in running when I started training for races. I had been a swimmer and a soccer player in high school. And then in college, I didn't really do a whole lot of athletics. I focused on other things. And so I wasn't trained in proper form and didn't have that beaten into my head from a young age. So when I came into this, I was a mess. And it took years of poor running and injuries to kind of hone things in. And even now, I'm sure my form needs work, but it's significantly better than it was. So if you are the kind of person that hasn't had a background in running and didn't have a coach in your ear for your formative years of running, it might be expensive, it might cost a little bit of money, but having someone who knows what they're doing watch and critique your form is going to be worth every penny in the long run. Because I'll tell you, if you think a coach is expensive, try a doctor, try an MRI. That stuff is super expensive. So, and not to mention the fact that it can derail races that you spent money on and bought running shoes for and other equipment for. So, a pinch of prevention is worth a pound of something. I don't know. There's a saying like that, and I can't remember it. So, at any rate, those are kind of the keys to injury prevention. I'd kind of put a bonus key in there of focusing a lot on recovery. That is something that for the first time ever I'm doing now, and that's almost an entirely other video, but you've got to focus on recovery as much as you focus on training, or you're gonna get hurt. I mean, training for a marathon, training for an Ironman, any of the, ultra marathons, even more. They're not easy things, and they're not something that your body's just naturally ready to do. So you've got to take care of it, and I think that's all for today. So enjoy the weekend. Deuces.